What's up, you guys? It's Agile here, and we are actually going to be checking out a little Warhammer 40k Dawn of War 4 gameplay trailer and dev interview. So this is going to be just a little reaction trailer here, and I will let you guys watch through it here, and then we're going to go ahead and go back and break a couple things down. So
today the enemy shall know fear. Capturing power source. The orcs attack! Kill them all! Here we go! Roar! Tech priest leader sighted.
In the Omnissiah's name, unleash the fury of the machines!
Purge them to the last! Vehicle engaging! We shall know no fear!
All shall die!
Withdraw!
Fall back!
Do not submit to defeat. Fight to the last. Run them through!
Eradicated!
Lock shields! For the Emperor!
all right, so obviously a lot of action there, and I do believe there's going to be a short little interview here that we will probably watch through together here in a moment, but I do want to go back to the trailer here and just break a couple things down quick. Let's actually turn this volume down a bit here. So obviously we're back on Kronos again here, or Kronos I should say. So we have Space Marines, we have Orcs, we have Necrons, we have the Adeptus Mechanicus here. So obviously we can see we're going to have some very large units here to use on the battlefield alongside our basic infantry, our standard infantry. One thing I wanted to point out here was the design on this Orc's boots here with little spikes coming down. That's pretty cool. Just try to take it through really slow here. Oh, and then I click out of it. Yeah, so here's a helmetless Space Marine here. And these look like they're assault marines, so they're going to be jumping in with their chain swords. Obviously, this guy is going to have a bad day here underneath this guy's foot. If I'm able to, can I actually go ahead and slow this down just a titch, go half speed here? So we can kind of see a little bit here. I don't want to do like a super in-depth dive here, but so obviously we're going to have drop pods coming in, bringing in more marines here. And I mean, yeah, they definitely do look pretty good, I think. Man, I keep doing that. I keep clicking out of it. You know, I'm not really sure on... We'll see how it goes. I'm not really sure on having them all using... I guess this is probably your basic intercessor marines here, but... And probably your sergeant here, maybe, or two sergeants. But Blood Ravens there. Cool they're dropping in on the pods there, so cool that we've got some actual shields going on here and a couple units here. Looks like we've got some different, so these are going to be like melee units specifically, probably your intercessor marines here, and then heavies back here, maybe Terminators. They look like they got pretty thick armor on. I'm not really sure, kind of hard to see from this distance, but obviously pretty large force there. Okay, we've got bikes there, so I don't know if they're going to allow for separate chapters again. You know, like if we're going to be able to do an army painter and all that stuff. I hope so, because White Scars would be fantastic to use. Imagine a whole army of White Scars coming at you, you know, on their bikes. It'd be cool, or if we could even upgrade the bikes to have a couple different weapons would be cool, but they are, you know, usually they have heavy bolters anyways on them. We've got base building again, which is sweet. We've got defense turrets going up here. And here we have orcs marching in. Obviously a little grainy here, just a slow-mo trailer pick here. But the models all look really good. Okay. We've got dynamic animations, which is really cool. We get to see them all fight. Here's something that I wanted to point out. You can see these guys are using cover here, which is cool. So nice to see that's coming back. We have two different fights happening here. I'm not sure how stable it's going to run, but from what I've heard, it's going to be pretty sweet. That it'll run good. You know, we didn't get access to the demo or any of that stuff, but you can see down here in the build menu as well. We have Chapter Keep, Chapel Barracks, Sanctum, Armory, Strategium, Thunderhawk Relay, Tarantula Turret, and a Hammerfall Bunker. And then, of course, we do have our sort of stratagems to use here, which is cool. Nothing else too crazy on the screen as far as I'm seeing here. Okay, and then we have the Adeptus Mechanicus coming in here. You're gonna have to forgive me. I am not great with the Adeptus Mechanicus units. I really don't know what a lot of these are, but I do think they're awesome. I've always liked the Adeptus Mechanicus. I'm just not super well versed in them. I have some friends that are. They could probably tell you what each one of these units are, but not me here, so you have to forgive me for that. But they do look awesome. Here we've got some more of those dynamic animations. Okay, we've got some Psychers coming in here, which is going to be sweet. And so we kind of have a little three-way war happening there. Got some war students marching in. Just want to pause this right here, see if we're missing anything. They're very careful with what they're including here. I'm not sure what these symbols mean here. Maybe they're under attack or something. Their buildings are under attack, perhaps. Still a little jarring not to have the Eldar mixed up in here, but hopefully they're going to be a faction added in. We got some war wagons coming in the way it looks, which is sweet. Some more base building. Yeah, and from what it looks like here, we actually have all three of these factions fighting currently: the Adeptus Mechanicus, the Blood Ravens, and the Orcs. And then, so that's cool. There's another helmetless Space Marine back there. And then, okay, we got another cool punch and a dynamic animation. And then obviously we have Scarabs coming in here, the Necrons, with some dynamic animations there again. Some really sweet animations, actually. I'm really excited to get a hold of the Necrons and give them a run here because they look really fun. Look at all those Scarabs there. That was sweet. We have some more B-roll footage here of just what they all have. So obviously here in the build menu for them, we got Mega Boss Bunka, the Boys Fort, Beast Snaga Hut, Scrap'em, Mecha Boy Shop, or Mech Boy Shop, Cover, Wog Banner, Mech Gun, Bomb, Squid Pen, and Gorkanaut. So here it says Mech Boy, Utility Infantry, repair structures and vehicles effective at short range. Which is cool. He's got Wog going on up there, top left. Necrons fighting Space Marines here. So obviously very intense. I would say, you know, it's going to take a lot of micromanagement to be able to manage all this stuff happening all at once here. And hopefully all this is to scale here. I hope we can have such big battles like that. It's going to be sweet. I can't wait to dive into multiplayer, into PvP with my favorite faction. Which of course we'll determine once we get in there, but it's going to be so much fun. Of course we're going to be doing all kinds of videos on this game when it comes out. So we got wishlist now. So now we'll jump back in here to playback speed, normal. And then we'll listen to what they have to say for the rest of it here. I'll turn the volume back up a bit here.
I mean, the first big decision, of course, was what are we aiming for, right? Do we try to do a Dawn of War 1 or a Dawn of War 2, or a mix of the both? Because, you know, we like both of them, but in the end we said, no, let's really go with Dawn of War 1. That's our guiding star.
There were three major things that we were looking to preserve building Dawn of War 4. First off, we wanted to double down and push forward on sync kills. So not only just having synchronized animations between units killing each other, but also synchronized melee combat through our combat director system.
That's sweet.
We talked to a lot of people, you know, what do you remember from Dawn of War 1, or what, you know, made Dawn of War 1 for you? And everybody was excited about sync kills, right? Because that was just something that everybody remembered. And so we said, okay, we definitely want sync kills in the game, but could we maybe even make it, you know, more spectacular, or something that, you know, 20 years later is super cool. And so we came up with a new system. I think when you do like a new version or reinterpretation of a classic game, the challenge is always that you're not trying to recreate the old game, but you try to recreate the feeling that people had when they played the old game, right? So what you basically want to do is you look at the old game, you ask yourself, okay, how did this work and how did this make us feel, and how can we do this 20 years later?
We also wanted to bring back base building as well as large-scale armies and engagements.
Yes.
There are so many cool factions and so many cool stories you could choose from. And we basically ended up picking the factions we picked because we felt if we do like a new version or like a evolution of Dawn of War 1, you need the Blood Ravens and you need the Orcs. That is just a given.
We worked closely together with Games Workshop to make sure that we got the feel and the look of all factions right. We knew right from the jump that we wanted to make a game that felt true to the universe and to the factions.
We thought about adding the Necrons because we felt that, you know, Necrons were kind of promised for Dawn of War 3 and never came. So it felt like a nice touch to finally give them to the players. They're really a faction that, you know, never had a big role in a Dawn of War game. And there are not that many. Adeptus Mechanicus is definitely like a big and important faction in the 40k universe, and they were never part of the Dawn of War, and so we felt that's a good opportunity to have something new for everyone.
Absolutely.
A couple of things that we knew we wanted to bring back were things such as unit upgrades and so on, such as assault intercessors that you just saw with jump packs, as well as hero units. Not making them too powerful, but definitely still significant for a player's army. We also wanted to bring back 4 different factions, essentially, each with their own gameplay mechanics.
We somehow have to get
it looks so good.
The game, but make it like a new version or our version. And then there might be some things, you know, that maybe are not IP conform anymore, or that feel, you know, out of place 20 years later. And those are the things we said, okay, let's not keep them, because it's more about, you know, having a great game today and not recreating a game that was great 20 years ago.
That's sweet. That's really, really good. Well, there you have it. I guess a look at their an interview with the dev team there, look at the gameplay. It looks really good. I love that they've got the animations in there, the sync kills, I guess is what they're called, or dynamic animations, whichever. And then, of course, they've got the large-scale armies is what they were just talking about there, too, which is sweet. Anyways, guys, thanks for checking this out here. I appreciate it. We'll catch you in the next one. Later.